Hello and welcome to yet another completely unprofessional unboxing. Scott here, and we are back with another crowdfunding fulfillment unboxing that I have here. But this one has been sitting around for a while. In fact, I didn't even open it. The box itself is actually going to be partially open. I have a wonderful teenage daughter who seems to feel anything that comes in a brown box is open season for her to take a poke around and see what's inside. And of course, it gets worse when it gets closer to the holidays. You know, everything belongs to her. That's just how it is. Anyhow, so yes, this has been sitting around for some time. I haven't even looked at it, even though it's been open. And in fact, it is still in the cellophane. I have been meaning to take a look at this, but decided I would go ahead and save it for an unboxing and take a look at it along with you to get a first impression about what this book is all about and what it's going to provide. So without further ado, let's go ahead and unbox this thing and take a look at what's inside. All right, so as you can tell, as stated, this thing has already been opened, and she has learned that even though that anything in a brown box belongs to her, once she does open it and sees that it is a book, it's probably daddy's. So, seem to get a little fluttering on the camera facing me. I don't know what the issue is. I'll figure that out later. Anyhow, the most important thing is what's in this box. So we'll do the easy part. Don't need the trusty Coleman camping steak knife for this. And wow, that was the easiest one I've ever done. So we have Ronin, or some people tend to pronounce Ronin, but I've always called it Ronin. I'm going to continue to call it Ronin. If the proper pronunciation is Ronin, then correct me. It doesn't really matter. You know what a Ronin is, or a Ronin, but for me, it's Ronin. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get the trusty Coleman camping steak knife and just kind of pierce the cellophane here a little bit to get it started. Just a little boop. And there we go. And let's tear this protective cellophane off. And there we are. All right, get that out of the way. So down to the nitty gritty. So Ronin was crowdfunded, maybe a year ago, I believe. It has easily been sitting here, with my stack over there for maybe a couple months now, give or take. But the premise of it is a mythical samurai game / setting that is built upon the Mork Borg system. So I'm not entirely sure if it just uses the system or if it uses the similar Mork Borg theme of, yes, mythic samurais, but in a dying world that eventually is going to go kablooey, depending on how you roll your dice as you're running this game, and a lot of terrible, horrible things, / hilarity ensues. So let's take a look at the back. All right, so there we go. Yep, get used to that. with anything by Mork Borg, you're going to be flipping the cover and the pages to read certain things, I would imagine. So the air in Kage-no-shima is thick with the stench of blood and the promise of violence. It is a world where factions war over scraps and the only honor to be found in the sharpened edge of a blade. A land where the line between life and death is blurred, where the spirits of the dead walk with the living, and where the eclipse casts a shadow over all. The sake's on us, but the survival is up to you. All right. Wow, there's a lot of names on here. So original text, ideas, and game design by Sasha Lightfoot, and graphic design and layout by Dominic Riozzi. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Brought to you by Slightly Reckless Games, SRG, and compatible with Mork Borg. Generally suitable for ages 18 and up. Yes, Mork Borg. You don't really want to run a Mork Borg game with your 5-year-old. You could, you are the parent, but I've run Mork Borg with my teenage son and his friends, and they love it, and other games that we have run for them, and I love it too. So, opening it up. All right, so this obviously follows the Mork Borg format. As far as the opening inset of the book, you're going to go ahead and have random tables here on the first 2 pages here, and I would imagine at the back is going to be a breakdown of the rules. Is that true? Yes. Yes, that is very, very true. So if you're familiar with Mork Borg, then you're already ahead of the game when it comes to running this. All right. Let's see here. Okay, please be advised. This book contains a section with detailed descriptions of ritual suicide, seppuku, that some readers may find disturbing or unsettling. Reader discretion is advised. Yes, there you go. And that's all you need. You have been advised, and there's no turning back if you do not listen. Several chapters here: the Endless Eclipse, the Island of Kage no Shima, factions, the Black Calendar, character creation, classes, honor, starting equipment, weapons and techs, game rules, optional tables, creatures, and yokai and yomi demons. So, yes, this just looking at the index here, this obviously follows the general format of the, well, no shortage of Mork Borg settings that are out there. Obviously, there's the story of the setting that you're in, the various factions that exist within it, character creation, a particular calendar of sorts that is going to essentially detail an ongoing set of events, usually some sort of apocalyptic set of events that changes your game. At a certain point, you may or may not roll a particular die and the world goes kablooey. But usually a couple of things that they have to make them different from Mork Borg, other than just, than being a general car wrap, is they do add a couple bits and bobs there. And I see one of them might have to deal with something called honor, which makes sense in a mythic samurai game. All right. The air in Kage no Shima is thick with the stench of blood and the promise of violence. Yes, as stated on the cover. It is a world where factions war over scraps. Okay, I'm rereading the same thing. But yeah, so you get the idea. The day the eclipse took hold, the people gazed upward in awe, revering its rare beauty as the heavens donned a cloak of dusk. Temples filled with prayers, the streets with festivals, believing this to be the sign of divine spectacle. But as days turned to weeks and weeks into endless cycles, the novelty waned into despair. The celestial event, once celebrated, now hung over them, a specter refusing to depart, its dark veil an unending curse. So, and then carrying on with the story. So yeah, I mean, mythic Japanese setting, I would imagine. And of course, an apocalyptic event has occurred here. Celestial event of sorts that you're going to be playing within. It takes place here, according to this map, the island of Kage no Shima, a wasteland of darkness and death, a place where the sun has all but given up, leaving its inhabitants to rot in endless twilight. The once beautiful landscape now lies barren, ravaged by war, famine, the countless horrors that have emerged from the shadows. So, again, I mean, some people use the term car wrap for certain licensed games, and I don't really particularly like to use it for games like Mork Borg, but I don't know if that's within the license, if they have to follow this general format, but they are one and the same. No slight, the creativity is still there, but the format exists and is replicated, just with a change of color, setting and and dialogue. But yeah, it's definitely Mork Borg familiar. If you open up a Mork Borg game. The Imperial Palace, the Ronin Quarter, the Floating Market, so it's dealing with the various areas on the island, the Monastery of the Iron Fist, the Hidden Village of the Shinobi. So yeah, you're also going to see a lot of the familiar and comfortable tropes that exist within a samurai setting. The Fortress of the Oni, Port of the Dead. And just want to, also notate on the artwork here. Again, it follows a very similar format. A very, kind of graphical art house design style to it. You're going to see very little, I guess whereas Mork Borg, the general standard is yellow. This one tends to follow a red or variant of it. But, you'll see different splashes of color wherein, but usually there's a standard color format that it tends to guide its hand by when dealing with this. So, and complementary colors to continue on. So, The Shogunate. So obviously there's a Shogunate in there. The Ronin Brotherhood. So we're getting into the factions. The Shadow Clan. The Iron Monks. And then here we have the calendar of events. Of which the end has come. It is said that everything must return to its source with the breaking of the seventh seal. The world returns to the void from whence it came. So, so I guess it follows an apocalypse revealing under the seven seals. And as you're playing a Mork Borg game, you'll roll a D100 or D2 through a D100. And determining your roll will eventually lead to the end, but other apocalyptic events that your players will experience. All right, character creation. So this is the one that I like to look at when it comes to Mork Borg games. You know, obviously there's a general familiarity with it. They follow the same format, but certain things come into play here that kind of sets it apart. You know, with games such like Cyborg and Pirate Borg and so on. Let's see here. So creating a player character, you begin with 2d6 times 10 Ryu. If using a custom character, a water skin, food, remember the world, your currency, and your life are both equally fragile. So randomize your starting equipment, randomize your weapons and armor, roll for your abilities, hit points, and then name your character. The abilities in this game are 4, like Mork Borg, but in here it's called swiftness, spirit, vigor, and resilience. Let's see. During the character creation, roll 3d6 to determine your character's starting honor, creating an integer, not a modifier. Adding or subtracting the relevant class modifier. Honor can be gained and lost through the character's actions. It affects how NPCs react to the character and can also grant certain benefits or penalties. The GM determines when honor is gained or lost based on the character's actions, and the honor score can fluctuate throughout the game. Honor below 10 is considered to be dishonorable, and honor equipped to 2 or greater than 10 is considered to be honorable. All right, character classes. We've got the Forgotten Ronin. We got the Erudite Samurai. We have the Drunken Monk with Five-Finger Death Punch and the Drunken Master and so on. Corrupted Shinobi. We have the, and this is where you fall into some of the issues regarding Mork Borg. Own me. I can't read that. I am sorry. I mean, I know it's supposed to be a puff of smoke, but it's blurred and it splits here in the center of the page. So the own Myoji. There we go. Okay. We have the Bakudo. Is that a demon or gambler? I'm not sure. The Yamabushi. The Wild Dancer. And we have the Reckless Sumo. Ooh, and there's more. The Sword Saint. There's no shortage of character classes and whatnot within Mork Borg and the various Borgs that are out there. All right, honor. So, just curious about this. Let's see here. It's not just a job of the GM to decide when actions are dishonorable or honorable. Let the players know they may get bonus or penalties to roll for being honest about actions. Only players using the unseen virtues may lie about their actions to the GM. Players are free to make up their own tenets using the one provided as inspiration if they decide to make a custom character. When a character in Ronin dishonors themselves, the game master may summon the Spirit of Fate to cast judgments. The severity of actions dictates the loss of honor. The GM decides what die is rolled and subtracted from their honor, ranging from a D2 for a slight misstep up to a D10 for heinous actions. And at the end of each session, have players plead their case for honorable actions. The GM deems them worthy. They may roll a D3 and add it to their honor score, but remember, it's their job to uphold their tenets. Only going above and beyond earns the reward. Interesting. Okay, so there's the caveat that kind of sets it apart from other Mork Borg games. So it's that. I mean, obviously, honor is a key element in traditional samurai Japanese type setting. So it makes sense to have it be a mechanic here within the game. So interesting to see how that would play out, especially in a Mork Borg setting, where Mork Borg tends to, be the dredges of society, the scoundrels and rogues scraping by to exist in a world that is dying around them. The world hasn't changed, it seems like, but the player characters have a creed and bushido and whatnot, along with these others here. Okay, so they have suggestions for each of the classes. Courage, honesty, honor, empathy, discipline, and then we have the unseen virtues: deception, ruthlessness, loyalty, discretion, adaptability, and so on. Balance, wisdom, bravery, enlightenment, harmony, and so on. So, all right. So kind of a, for lack of a better term, kind of a, let's see. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. Alignment. Jesus Christ. How long have you been playing role-playing games, Scott? You forgot alignment? At the beginning of your journey, you possess only what you carry. Okay, so here's your random things. Here's your weapons, ranging from the shuriken to the katana and all the standard equipment in between. We have our text. So this essentially would be the various things that would be magic within the world of Ronin. Kame's Vengeance. And let's see here. When you mess with the ancient words, a Kame can grow restless. So yeah, if you screw up your spells, this is what can happen. List of equipment, along with services, weapons, animals, repairing your armor, and also, and also bodyguards and such for hire. Playing the game, let's see if this is any different. Tests are made against difficulty rating. To succeed, roll a d20 plus your ability with a result equal to or greater than the difficulty rating. Creatures don't use abilities, they just roll d20 against difficulty rating. For example, find tripwire, DR14, or resist poison, DR12. So yeah, excuse me. Looks like it follows the same. Okay, so we have an entire page on here regarding honor. Seppuku. So yes, again, falls within the general history of the samurai, the way of the samurai and seppuku. Essentially losing honor. One of the only ways to repair that honor is through seppuku or seppuku, whatever. Resurrection, interesting. Huh. Okay. Hit points, how you take damage and whatnot. Tatakai. Battle. Okay. Yes. Combat. Parrying. Once per combat, the player can choose to parry an incoming attack instead of rolling for defense. To do this, they must test resilience against the defense difficulty rating of the incoming attack +2. If successful, they not only block the attack, but also deal the weapon's damage immediately. If the player rolls a critical on their parry, the counterattack deals double damage and reduces the enemy's armor tier by 1. So yeah, swordplay. Swordplay definitely plays into it. Dueling, yes, that would be another thing that sets it apart. Morale within the game. If a PC kills or gravely insults an NPC, family member, friend, or master, they've created a blood feud. The offended NPC may challenge the offending PC to a duel to the death. The challenged PC can either accept or refuse the challenge. If they refuse, they are dishonored and their honor is permanently reduced by 5. If they accept, only death or victory await. Winner grants 3 honor. Loser is sent to Yomi, or worse, death. Rest within the game, healing your hit points. Likewise, meditation. By taking a moment to meditate, a character can regain their focus and center themselves. To do so, they must spend an hour of quiet contemplation during which they cannot engage in any activities or combat. After completing the meditation, the character gains 1 point of honor and a +1 bonus to the ability of their choice. Interesting. You can only do this once per week. All right. Improving your characters. And what is this? That says, teach me sensei. Let's see. So this is learning or upgrading or training. Okay, excellent. Virtues. Okay, so virtues are essentially the commodity that you can spend within the game to have, bonuses to your rolls and other outcomes. Haiku. The player is prompted to write a haiku during the meditation and test spirit of a difficulty rating of 12. For example, the player could be prompted to write a haiku about a particular aspect of nature or about their current emotional state. If they succeed in writing a haiku, they regain 1 virtue. If they fail, they suffer a -1 penalty to all spirits until the end of the day. Haiku can also be used as a tool for divination. The player could offer a haiku as a prayer to the gods, and depending on the quality of haiku, the god's disposition, they could receive a blessing or a curse. Yes, there's going to be a lot of naughty and dirty haikus that would be written in the game with some of the people that I know. Optional tables, Broken Bones, Grim Chronicles, Bad Habits. So I think these are ways to flesh out your character further. Awful Afflictions. And then we've got essentially the monsters and creatures associated with the game, the Oni, the Nui, Bandits, Yuki Onai. Oh, jeez. God. Yes. Black on red, I can't read. Colorblind. Komenu. Neriona. Roku B. Skeleton Ronin. Tengu Kappa. And so on. Yeah, no shortage of monsters here. Carrying on. And then we get to the index. And then we have Shadow Reigns Over the Crimson Jungle, an introductory adventure from Ronin. Excellent. So I won't go through this, and I don't want to spoil too much, but it's very nice of them to add this to the game. I think most of them come with that, which, is a plus for me. I know some people don't like starting adventures. They feel it, the space can be better used for other things. I personally think that having a starter adventure with a core book is a necessity because it can walk you through the game and give you a better idea on how to play it, especially if the rules can be a little bit of a, head scratchy or a little bit difficult to discern. Having an example to kind of play through helps give you an idea on how the game is run. Random encounters, the sacred seals, okay, and maps for the adventure, and then we've got the reference in the back of the book, and there you go. Ronin, y'all. So yeah, and a great little book. There's no question that if you're familiar with Mork Borg, that opening this book up, you would instantly recognize it as a Mork Borg game. I feel it does provide, a couple extra bells and whistles to make it stand out, as mentioned earlier. So the setting itself is something that I enjoy. I definitely love a mythic Japanese, mythic samurai, some sort of martial arts setting. I've played in several in the past. I enjoy them. Various martial arts wuxia type games. A lot of fun to play in. I do feel that this book looks like it's definitely going to provide it to you. I'm not too sure how it's going to play out with a lot of the standard Mork Borg aficionados. Their play style, like I said, tends to fall towards rapscallions, rogues, ne'er-do-wells, scoundrels, and whatnot. Whereas within this game, you are, essentially you're a representation and pillar of excellence, depending on your class, in a world that could give a shit. So that could make for some interesting role play. That can definitely make for some interesting situations and whatnot. Not entirely sure if that's something that your standard Mork Borg player would want to do, but I think the setting itself is interesting enough, and what it provides is interesting enough that it would definitely bring a lot of people in who are looking for a setting such as this and doesn't really want to go to some of the other offerings that are out there. Plus the rules itself for Mork Borg are easy. They're not difficult, and so that allows for a more open-ended role playing for certain people who don't like a lot of crunch in their game, but do like options, but just not tons and tons and tons of options and skills and rules that they have to wade through in order to enjoy the game. So, yeah, would I recommend someone check this out? Sure, absolutely. If you're a Mork Borg fan, you would definitely want to take a moment to look at this. If you're looking for a samurai setting, definitely worth looking into. If you're a fan, of this type of genre, again, definitely would be worth looking into. The artwork itself, granted, it's stylistic. It definitely follows the Mork Borg pattern, but as far as the quality of the artwork, it's excellent. I've got no complaints about it. It's evocative and definitely, leans itself towards what they're trying to provide here within the game. So yeah. My general impression of it is if I had come across this in a store and was able to flip through it and take a look at it, there's enough in here to pique my interest to bring it home, check it out, and, see how the game plays. Even though I know it would play like your standard Mork Borg rules, but, it is its own game. It does provide enough for it to stand on its own. It is definitely not a 100% complete Mork Borg card wrap. So there you go. So this has been yet another completely unprofessional unboxing. If you like this video, please give a like, please subscribe. Always appreciated. Much thanks if you do. And if you get a moment, check out Titter Pigs, the tabletop RPG podcast I do with Keith from Rolling Boxcars. We've got a live stream coming up on October 31st for Halloween. We're just going to pop on and have a little chitty chat. If you happen to miss it, if you've seen this after Halloween, go to the YouTube channel. It's in the description here, and you can see the event recorded or saved after it was done. And we'll see what bullshit came out of our mouths. So, everyone, thank you so much, and have yourselves a wonderful day.